It is difficult to imagine the fear and uncertainty that soldiers entering World War II experienced. Still, millions of Americans demonstrated exceptional valor. One memorable example is Second Lieutenant Owen Robert Baird of the United States Marine Corps. Owen Robert Baird was born on June 18, 1924, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, to Jesse and Stuart G. Baird. His younger brother, Stuart Jr., affectionately called Stu or Joe, was born 3 years later. Although Baird's family moved multiple times throughout his childhood during the Great Depression, they remained within the South Minneapolis area. Baird attended Central High School in Minneapolis, where he demonstrated outstanding leadership. He served as the president of the YMCA's Lynx High Y Club and as the vice president of the YMCA's All Central High Y Club, and he was a member of the Central High School Junior and Senior Student Councils. Baird was also an accomplished athlete, serving as a captain of the varsity football team and as a valuable player on the track and hockey teams. In his high school yearbook, he was celebrated as a hockey standout. Upon graduating from high school in January 1942, Baird began studies at the University of Minnesota. He also started work at Shuren Optical Company, located on the bustling Nicollet Avenue of downtown Minneapolis. Following the December 7, 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor, the United States needed soldiers. Shortly after he turned 18 years old, Baird was drafted into the United States Navy in 1943, joining other dedicated Minnesotans in supporting the war effort. He received pilot training at Pensacola Air Base in Pensacola, Florida, where he earned his pilot's wings in April 1944. He was subsequently transferred from the Navy to the Marine Corps. Baird spent a brief period of time in DeLand, Florida, then was assigned to El Toro Air Base in Santa Ana, California in August 1944. Before his departure to the Pacific Theater, Baird married his high school sweetheart and University of Minnesota classmate, Beverly McNellis, on February 3, 1945, in Yuma County, Arizona. 1 month later, in March 1945, Second Lieutenant Baird's Marine Torpedo Bomber Squadron VMFA 232 arrived in the Pacific Theater, where it was stationed on Okinawa and the Ryukyu Islands. Second Lieutenant Baird courageously flew against enemy front lines throughout the Ryukyu Islands while piloting a bomber plane. On June 12, 1945, Second Lieutenant Baird was sent, along with a group of pilots, to fly over enemy territory and look for possible signs of surrender by the Japanese. On July 11, 1945, his TBM-3E Avenger torpedo bomber number 69277 was shot down by enemy fire, just 2 months before Japan's surrender to the Allied powers. He was marked missing in action in July 1945, and his family was notified of his death during the holiday season of December 1945. For his outstanding work in the military, Second Lieutenant Baird was honored with multiple awards, including the Purple Heart, the Air Medal, and the Distinguished Flying Cross. We are proud to carry this flag to honor Second Lieutenant Baird. It was presented to his family after his death and was generously shared with us by Second Lieutenant Baird's nephew, Mr. Chris Baird of Minnesota. After the end of World War II, Baird's former high school held a ceremony to memorialize its 125 young men killed while serving in the war. That day, it was said, "Though their voices are silent, their courage is not spent, their faith is not extinguished. The courage of great men outlives them to become the courage of their people and the peoples of the world. It lives beyond them and upholds their purposes and brings their hopes to pass." This message holds true. In the 21 years that he lived, silent hero Second Lieutenant Owen Robert Baird exemplified bravery, strength, and honor. His life and sacrifice for freedom will not be forgotten. Thank you.